Okay, once you have your first character in the scene, what we want to do is select him and then give him a script. So the script gives him code basically to control him or do whatever it is you want to do with him. So we're going to go down and take new script, and I'm going to call this move character. You should find that it's created at the top of the root of the assets folder. You can take that and drag it into your scripts folder that we created earlier. And then if you go into scripts and double click on it, it should open an IDE like Visual Studio. Okay, so this is, you see that you've got a public class. Now we're going to create a variable for our guy, and we're going to right away give him health because it's going to be that kind of game. He's going to need health. Health doesn't need to be a decimal point. Integers are fine, which means it's a whole number. So public int health 100. We'll come back to why we're setting it as public. We're also going to do something called Speed Force. The main reason it's called Speed Force is because I watched Flash, but I'm going to give him a Speed Force, okay, which is basically going to be the speed that he's going to move at. We're then going to define different keys. I'm going to define just left and right and let you try and figure out the rest. So if I do left and right, you can try and figure it up and down. And I'm going to say public key code, left key and right key. It doesn't matter too much about the capitalization, except that whatever way you do it now, keep to it from now on. If you want to do it with that syntax, feel free, but make sure you keep to it. So if you like to start with the popular type of syntax with small r and then k in the middle, then feel free, but make sure you stick to it from then on. Okay. And these variables are declared at the start when that object gets created, and they're attached to the object, which you'll see in a minute. We're not going to do anything in start right now. Start only runs at the beginning of the game or the beginning of when that object is created. And update just repeats constantly throughout the game. So this is where we want to move them. If you've done X and A, some of this will be sounding familiar. What we're going to do first is we're going to grab the position of the character. So we're going to make a float because X and Y coordinates are floats. We're going to say position X equals transform. Transform just being the object basically that you are attached to, that the script is attached to. And we're going to get his X position and store it into a variable that I'm calling pos X and pos Y. Okay. I'm then going to say if input get key. So we're going to check for a key input. We're going to look for the left key. Brackets always come in pairs in C#, so watch out for that. And then we're going to say position X minus equals the speed force to take him left. And you guessed it, to go right is almost the same, except we say position X plus equals speed force. Okay. Lastly, we need to assign those values back onto the transform of the object. And we have to do this by doing it as a vector because in Unity, all these positions are actually vector 3s. So we need to say that. You could say 0 for Z because it's a 2D game and Z will always be 0, but if you want to be correct, we can say this, which is basically setting the Z to be the same as it currently is, just in case somebody has used it. So to summarize, we get the X position, the Y position. We check to see if you've pushed left or right. If you have, we subtract a value, which we've defined here. And if you've pushed to the right, we add a value. And then we assign those values back in to the position. Unfortunately, you can't do that directly, not easily. Okay, so what we're going to do now is either attach or save your script. Attaching will save it too, and it'll also run the debugger. So if that runs without error, you can actually stop the debugging right away. You don't need to keep debugging going. And we can go back into Unity. We can run our game and nothing will happen because we haven't told it what keys to use. We said left key and right key, but we didn't say what those are. If you know, this is the beauty of Unity now. If you look over to the right in the inspector pane, we can now see all the public variables in here. So for instance, if you wanted your character to start with 200 health, you could do that there and it overwrites the code. Okay, we can also change the speed there and we can choose the keys. So if one way to look for left is just to hit L to find it. So left arrow and right arrow. Obviously you could use WASD as well. So I've defined that. I've got a health, I've got speed forces, but we're not actually doing anything with the health right now. And if you run that now and I push right, it goes right. If I push left, it goes left. But I can change that. So if you make another character, you can actually use exactly the same script and all you do is change the key parameters in here. So the challenge is if you can make this guy move up and down and then add in the second character that's pointing the other way, add the same script to him and make him move up and down with different keyboard input. Okay. The other cool thing I should mention is when you're running the game, this is good and bad. When you're running the game, that button's down, you can play about with the speed. So if I set that to 1, for instance, you see it moves much more quickly. But if I stop running the game, it sets back to 0.1. So it always resets. Anything you do while the game is running will be reset as soon as you stop. The negative of that is I've had people spend an hour working on the game while the game was running, and then the second they realised what they had done and they stopped it running, they lost everything, and there was nothing they could do. There is no way to save it. So make sure you don't edit the game while it's running unless you're just testing values. Okay, I think that's plenty for now.